Hey there, hearts and minds. It's Jeanette here. This week we're taking a little break, but we wanted to share one of our favorite episodes from the fall where we talk about the curious case of Nicki Minaj and her choice of husband, as well as the millennial homeowner crisis that's going on in our market, and I'm sure that's happening around in a lot of high population markets in the US. So take a listen and let us know what you think. Talk to you guys next week. Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning, and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy,
Yeah,
our passionate heart, and Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
please. Let's we do it.
Okay, so as always, we like to check in with each other, do our
Yes.
weekly checkup, make sure everything is good, everything's running. Even if it's not running, that's okay. That's what we're doing to check up.
Right?
So how was your week?
My week was pretty, it was okay still, I can't complain. I feel like it was a productive week,
Ooh, those are always good.
yeah, right? And then I went into the office twice this week, which was nice. It was nice because, human contact is rare nowadays.
Yes.
So it was nice to have a little of that. But overall, I can't complain. It was a pretty good week. Um, I learned a lot, discussed a lot,
Ooh.
been through the week, and I'm thankful to God that I made it to the end.
Amen,
So,
sister. Amen.
yes. How about you, girl? How you doing?
Oh yeah, it was pretty good. There's some, get some new opportunities coming up in the horizon. So don't want to get ahead of myself, but some things are in the works in terms of financial and opportunities. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, go on, girl. What you
Yeah,
got? So,
today I actually my cousin has he has two boys, and they're like really into competitive soccer. So the younger one, who's I think he's 11. Yeah, he just turned 11. He's turning 11 this year. And they
mhm.
had their Ontario Cup, so they're part of a soccer club, a Toronto Dutch Connection actually, and it's like a big prep soccer team. And
Mhm.
damn, I was going to be like, oh, I'm gonna see these little kids go up and down. Listen, this game
Mhm.
was like World Cup, okay?
Yeah, that I was gonna say.
The Ontario Soccer Association.
They
Listen,
don't play.
let me
They don't
they
play.
put on a good show. It was televised as well. But I mean, being there, it was super exciting. His team, that's why I
Mhm.
shouted out the team. I'm like, these boys are super talented. Like, I need to like maybe pay attention a little bit more. Maybe because it was COVID, I haven't really kept in touch. I haven't seen my cousins in a long time. So when we
Mhm.
got the invite for them to that they're going to be in the championship, I was like, for sure, I'll get up out of my bed early in the morning, and
Mhm.
and we headed over.
Early time. Early
Yeah,
time.
it's over there in Vaughan where they have the association headquarters.
Mhm.
And this, first of all, not just because he's my cousin, but
Mhm.
this boy, he's a striker on the team. He
Oh boy,
is
he's a striker.
so
Oh.
talented. Oh my god, his older brother plays too, but I think his age group never went to the championship. I definitely Hunter Wright, be on the lookout. Okay, not because he's
Mm-mm.
my family, but because he's like generally talented, and even the boys on his team, because one thing I noticed about the team is the team from Burlington had the boys were a little bit bigger, so it's
Mm.
under 13. So it's probably, I think my cousin was saying, from 13 to 11. Sorry, 11 to 13. That's
Mhm.
age group you're gonna see. So some boys have their growth. Kids are different. They have their growth spurts in different phases. Dutch Connection, the boys were a little bit smaller, but they were feisty. They put on a fight. So they won today 4-3, and I had the time of my life today. Great energy. It was good and connected.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I like going to soccer games because and basketball games because
Yeah,
when you
excitement.
really get invested in the game, like you
Hmm.
could walk away with a really awesome experience.
Hmm.
And it's like you hype up, like you want to ton and play the baseball or the basketball. You want
Yes.
athletics is your thing now, Trust
Yeah,
me.
for sure.
Trust
So
me.
got a good
Mm-hmm.
energy boost from that this morning. So yeah, that was
Mm-hmm.
those are some highlights of my week. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so let's get into our headlines.
Headline.
Okay, so first I want to start with some Canadian content, as we try to do at least every week. And if we don't have Canadian content, it is what it is. But when we do, it has to be first and foremost.
First and foremost,
Northern views, everybody. Northern view.
northern views. Thank you.
So I wanted to bring up here in Canada, across all the provinces, there's been a I would call it the disease of protesters
Oh,
going
good.
deciding. Protesters are not new, especially with the whole vaccination and
That's
anti-vax and
right.
all that. But now
Mm-hmm.
the protesters have gone to the hospitals. They are going to the hospitals across our country and creating, obstructing
Havoc.
havoc and obstructing people from getting service. And like, this is a hospital, this is a place of care, this is a place where a lot of people are in life and death situations, and you are bringing this heightened energy
Ridiculousness.
to the hospital. And I personally, I believe in the right to protest, but this is not where you protest. You protest where the legislation is being taken up, and
Where
that is,
someone will care when
oh,
you're outside. You
well,
know what I mean?
not that somebody will care, but you're going to the source of your problem. The
And they
hospital.
are the people that will care because they can do something about it. They
Yeah,
know why you're
the
there.
people in the hospital. The people in the hospital are just people doing their jobs, or people who are sick and are trying to get better.
This
Like,
is it.
those are not, none of those groups can take up your issue at this moment. So I
That's why I'm
mean,
saying, like, so sorry to interject, but because my mom, she's been a registered nurse
hmm
at one of our huge hospitals here. I'm not going to say which one, but anybody who's from Canada or Ontario would know.
hmm
But anywho, she's, been working there for more than I've been alive for
wow,
40 plus years.
yeah,
And she said when she saw the protesters outside, she thought to herself, and what do I do for you?
yeah,
Like, what can I do? If you're coming to the hospital for care, I'm here to help.
yes,
But if you're coming here to protest, what is it that you would like for me to do to help you? Now, when I saw the clips, on the news of
hmm
them outside, I thought to myself, do you realize that there are other diseases, other ailments other
yep,
than COVID?
yep,
Like, there's people who are having heart transplants right as we speak.
cancer treatment.
Do you understand that someone's chest is open right now while
hmm
you're standing outside protest? And let me back up.
hmm
You're standing outside alive
yeah,
and well
yes,
while there's somebody in a bed just holding on to dear life.
yeah,
So it's like, can we put things in context, in the sense where that's not the place to go to get anything really done. And pissing off the nurses and the doctors and the surgeons, is not going to make this better. It's
hmm
not it's not going to change anybody's perspective. If anything, that was the wrong place to go, because we're dealing with a pandemic here, and there are people in this hospital who have COVID.
hmm
There are people who are visiting family and friends who are dying.
exactly,
Give
yep,
them some grace. Like, just, but like that, it just annoyed me.
hmm
It's one thing to protest, because, like you, I really believe that protesting is our God-given right,
hmm
and that we should have every opportunity to do so.
hmm
But I think a strategic plan would definitely put your protesting in the forefront for the right people to do the right things.
hmm
At the hospital, it's not the place.
that's not the
You
place.
It's just not the place. You don't understand. There's people who are sick, really sick, that are
hmm
holding on to life, and you're outside, well, on your feet,
hmm
protesting. It's just not the place to be. And so when I saw it, the first thing that came to mind was my mother.
yeah,
And second was, this is not the place or the time,
yeah.
and how they don't have any empathy.
No, exactly. And something that an article that I saw. First of all, God bless your mom. All RNs and doctors. We know that's a calling. It's a
Yes,
it's
thank
a
you.
calling that people are passionate about, but it's a calling that comes with a lot of burden. And I saw an article there where, on top of anger, obviously, that the people in the hospital employees are feeling, like you mentioned, there's also a sense of lowered morale. The
Yep.
morale is very low for those who work in hospitals. As with this new, I mean, they're low. It was probably already low already, because obviously they've been knee deep in COVID for a year and a half, and
There's so many nurses that are burnt out.
there. Oh yeah, I
There's
saw there's a
doctors that are
crisis.
burnt out.
Yeah,
There's nurses that are just retiring left, right, and
yeah,
center.
I've heard
There's
that.
people that are saying, you know what, I want to be a nurse, but not yourself.
Nope.
So I'm gonna go here, or I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to a different part of the country, of Canada, to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
I know that for my mom, she had a calling to be a nurse from she was a young kid,
Mm-hmm.
and she fulfilled that dream, and she has been taking care of many, 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 many people over her years. And so to see how there's no empathy for not the nurses, not the doctors, not the surgeons, not the patients, not nobody,
Yeah.
and now you want me to take your protests seriously? I don't, because the first thing that I'm thinking of is how you lack any empathy for the people who
Empathy.
are on their
Yeah,
dying bed.
I agree. Yep. So, so I think I agree that the lack of empathy, it's like, like I said, protest, but you're in the wrong place, and you guys are looking very disgusting at this point. So we'll continue to. I hope that they
Sorry,
keep.
and if you ever did see the sign them a wall up and everything,
Mhm.
yeah, but they're talking about the actual employees of the hospital, like, oh, fallen heroes,
Really?
and yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I saw little signs when I was looking at the clip and all of this. Fallen heroes, one day heroes, next day villains, and yeah, I was like,
Well, I've
you
seen
realize
signs.
that they're only
I've seen signs like that from actual nurses. Like I've seen signs like that, but they're from like actual healthcare workers who don't want to be forced to. Who are now that everybody's being forced to take the vaccinations. Those were. I've seen those signs coming from actual healthcare workers who are working a healthcare situation. But maybe that could be a
well,
valid sign.
they got their examples, I guess, from them.
Hmm.
But what I found so disturbing was that, do you realize what it's like to be a frontline worker in a hospital? Like, I
No,
don't
they
think
don't.
a lot of people understand that concept,
They really don't.
because they're seeing people die
Yeah, yeah.
in front of them every day.
There was
Not
actually,
one, not two, we're talking 10,
yeah.
15 people
I
dying.
don't know if you saw this clip, but there's a clip going around. I think it's the woman. It's a nurse. It's a Hispanic nurse, somewhere in the states, and she's literally crying. I think it's like a TikTok video that was circulating. I think it was earlier this week or last week,
Hmm.
and she's literally like, today I had to intubate like 6 people. Like I had 4 people die on me. There are some people begging me to let them die. There's some people begging me to
Okay.
saying they don't want to die. And I mean,
Okay.
being like that is so much. And this was a younger. She wasn't like. I mean, it does.
She's
I
not a
feel
seasoned nurse.
she's
She's not
not.
a seasoned,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think she was in between. It's like she's obviously not fresh, but she's obviously not like a nurse who, like a 50-year-old
a
nurse
veteran,
who could
yeah.
probably. I think nobody could be prepared for this. I think it's a lot for
It's not
anybody.
something to prepare for. It's not ever something to prepare for,
Mm,
because while you're taking care of them, you get to know them.
yeah.
You get to see their family. They're
Yep.
not just numbers, they're people, and you get to see that. And I just feel as though, the protesters had like
There's no empathy. Yeah.
none at all. And it's like, yeah, you want people to have empathy for you. And one thing that I always say, don't expect what you're not willing to give.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yep.
Don't expect what you're not willing to give. So if you are not willing to give empathy to those people in that hospital that are saving lives every day, that go unnoticed, unmentioned, then don't expect that from them when it comes to understanding why you don't want to be vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so prayers up, and hopefully they change
Yes,
hopefully they change tactics, because this is not it.
it's
Okay,
not
so
working.
Moving on, Norm Macdonald. So I'm very familiar with Norm Macdonald. He's a Canadian actor and comedian, and he had some shows on CBC. He was on SNL. He was on their news desk for many years. Drew Carey, that sitcom Newsroom, and he also had his own Netflix show. I think in the last 2 years, I didn't get to watch it, but he does have his own kind of talk show, night talk
Okay.
show on Netflix. And he unfortunately passed away earlier this week from cancer, and he's 61. So nobody knew. It was another one of those cases where he kept it private. He was
Mm-hmm.
struggling with it for over 9 years. They didn't say which kind of
Jeez.
cancer, but I just wanted to shout him out. He's a great Canadian talent, and
R.I.P. man.
rest in
R.I.P.
rest in peace. So
Mm-hmm.
moving on, Mark and Jem in the morning. You remember them, right? From G98.
I love them. I love them in the morning. Like they keep me ready. They
So
keep me
there,
ready.
these are two hosts from a Toronto radio show we have here, and it's a Afro Caribbean. It caters to the Afro Caribbean community here in Toronto. And I was sad to see a Facebook post on Instagram from Mark Strong, basically outlining that they have were I don't I'm just gonna have to say it, they were fired.
No,
Don't want to say
no.
it, but they essentially, he said it, he kind of slid over it, but they were fired. So I'm just going to read his statement, and then we'll kind of do a quick. So, since the road has come to an end, I have to bring it back to where it started. I figured out the best way to say goodbye to radio for the last 10 years is to honor the originator, Fitzroy Gordon. Fitzroy Gordon, just as an FYI, was the
Yeah,
owner.
he passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah, and he owned G98. So 10 years ago, the owner and founder, Fitzroy Gordon, put the key to the station in the hands of Mark and Jem to wake up the city and to welcome the world to Black Caribbean radio from Toronto. When no other media outlet saw potential, talent, and skill in Mark and Jem, Mr. G said, "Be embraced by your people right here at home with family." And
Mm-hmm.
that's what every single listener we have here on the station is, family. Many times when we have Many times when we were doubted as radio numbers told biased untruths about our reach, he believed in us. Though not always an easy road, I am eternally grateful for his trust, courage, and steadfast position in allowing Mark and Jem to fill the void of blackness on radio. The art of radio is rewarding, the element of radio is powerful, the reality of radio is an illusion. The business of radio is filthy. Damn.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He said something, but he had some. I'm gonna skip over some stuff and go to how he closed it. I do not know what to expect with the new direction of G98.7 takes now from now. I don't know what direction it will take from now. I do hope that with the only platform for Black Caribbean and African voices and presence, it truly represents its entirety. I hope it serves the people. I prayed for years in this business to hire fire. I'm only willing to do God's will. All praise to the most merciful. So all prayers for you have stored for me and Jem. Oh, so then he says, I'm thankful for the prayers that you all have for me and Jem. And then he closes off. So my heart sank when I heard this
I
news,
can't. I can't.
because you know what, there was another, this is just a repeat of what happened, because remember they were on 93, I don't remember, 93.7, I don't remember, I think it was 93.7, but there's another radio station that was catering to the Black community here in Toronto,
93.5.
93.5, and then they got bought out, they turned it into a pop station, they fired all the Black hosts,
Pretty
and
damn
we missed it.
ridiculous.
Then Mr. Fitzroy Gordon, he went and bought G98. It struggled, but you know what? He brought most of the hosts from 93.5, especially particularly Mark and Jem in the morning, and we were so happy to have them back and have this representation of our community. So
Yep.
I'm sad to hear what has happened. I saw the okay, so I did do some digging, and so it was bought out. G98 was bought out last year, October 2020, by a guy named Niti P. Ray. So he's an investor in the broadcasting industry, and he owns stations in Montreal and Quebec, and I think he has some in Windsor, some local stations
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So he was bought out. So obviously, they did have a petition. They did put a petition when the station went on sale, to they were encouraging Black owners to buy, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no bids from Black owners or Black groups. So
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, We're gonna have to see what happens, but this is obviously a bad move. Like this, they were the identity of the station. That's why they were the soul of the station.
Hmm.
So that's what's going on. How are you feeling about
Well,
that?
well, how I'm feeling about that is, even hearing you talk about it, it just makes me sad.
Yeah, it's very
It
sad.
really makes me sad. Now, I remember when Flow 93.5 came
Yes,
out.
flow. Yep.
I remember when they came out, and I was so excited because they had less commercials, more music that pertained to the Black culture here in Canada,
Hmm.
which, consists of, different cultural backgrounds, and they were able to address all of it.
Hmm.
Also, I'm a hip hop head. I
Hmm.
love reggae, I love calypso, but I'm also a hip hop head, and they played a lot of hip hop.
Hmm.
And I found like it was a great source, and I loved listening to it. And over time, it had more and more commercials. It became more and more commercial, and before time knew, when they got bought out, all the black people that made Flow for what it is were gone. They were gone. They got rid of the ones that helped to put Flow on the map.
Yeah.
And it was so sad to see. And
Yep.
now, let me tell you, Mr. Gordon would have never done this.
Of course not.
He would have never done this. Even on his last breath, I'm sure he would have sold it to another person that was of West Indian background, or had some sort of, cultural, similarity to him. And so to see this happen after this man worked so hard to get this station where it is, because I've been listening to 98.7G for a
Hmm.
long time, before Mark and Jem even got on there.
Yep.
And so when they did, I was like, "Scene, they're gonna add a new flavor. They're gonna bring back that flavor that Flo once had,
Hmm.
and onto this station." And I was looking so forward. Well, I'm still, like, I don't want to believe you. You know what I'm saying?
I know it's
Like, in my
sad.
heart, I'm just like, nah, bah, something's gonna change. Something last minute, nah.
Hmm.
Maybe him going public will change somebody's mind. I don't know. I'm reaching. I'm reaching. I know I am.
You're right. I think there will be an outcry, but it's like who has the at the end of the day, it's a money business.
It is a money business, and
So
that's the thing. And when Mr. G died, it was, you know what? I thought this would happen,
hmm.
but because he died a couple years ago, just before COVID,
Hmm.
I really believed that this would just get left alone.
Mm.
Specs the boss went over there too after they fired him from Flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody went over to
They
G,
most
and
of
I
them
was
went over there.
like, this is where it's at.
Hmm.
And in terms of listenership, I know a lot of people that listen to that station,
Yep.
and it's not just, calypso, hip hop, reggae, whatever.
Mm.
It actually talks about issues that concern our particular community.
Of course.
They
Yeah.
talk about it, they discuss it, they have people calling in, people who are experts in the business, people who know something, and that could reach a variety of people in our black community. So it's sad to hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I know that they'll be fine, and they're going to turn around and go on to a new, a new channel, a new station, sorry, and they will make it what they did for G. G was around for a while, way before Mark and Jem, and it was the only place that you could really hear. I'm not talking like the regular schmegular top 40 reggae songs or calypso songs. I'm talking the ones that you grew up with. You could hear that on that station. It was so nostalgic, and it was, I don't know what it's gonna, I don't know if this is gonna be like Flow 2.0. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's looking like it, but we'll see. Okay, quick update on the. Remember, we have talked about Tiny and Ti on this podcast a couple of times. We had to bring it up because they are
Yeah.
getting a little outrageous. And so the update now. So we were talking about the charges and accusations about them. So TMZ is reporting that they won't be charged for allegedly drugging and sexually assaulting a woman in 2005 in Los Angeles. The prosecutors have declined to move forward with the case, and the main reason is saying the 10 years statute of limitations has expired, which just means the time to press charges since the incident has happened has passed. So that is the update. So they won't be charged. Not, but I'm still side eyeing them. But we'll see where this goes. Another big story that we saw that was kind of crazy is the Haitian. I saw the images of Haitian immigrants
Lord,
just going in droves to
Lord.
Texas, and so they were saying more than 10,000, over 10,000 undocumented Haitians were being held under a bridge in Texas,
Can
posing
you
a new.
imagine?
Can you
How do
imagine?
we pull all of them on them, please?
Okay, so the border control in Del Rio, Texas is saying that migrants were crowded in an area controlled by US Customs and Border Control beneath the Del Rio Bridge. So if you go online and type in Haitians in Texas, get ready to
Mm-hmm.
see some crazy images of a
It's
droves
crazy.
of people just living in, under a bridge in Texas, which is, and many of them are Haitians, but there are a mix of some South Americans, hoping to stay in the United States as their country suffers after our large earthquake that they had recently,
Yep.
and the continuing political turmoil, especially since the assassination of their
Yep. They
president.
don't have no leader. They
So
can't get
I'm
their
gonna be
place together.
honest.
Mm-mm.
I'm not surprised, but I was surprised by the amount of people it was. That was and the number was shocking to me. I know that there was gonna be a huge migration because obviously the country is in a critical state, and those
Mm-hmm.
they're like, listen, we don't want to be here anymore. But the amount did shock me when I saw all those people underneath the bridge.
Well, what shocked me, okay, what the number is what shocked me, but what about the number shocked me was that within a 24-hour span, they
Hmm.
went from 4,000 to over 10,000.
Hmm.
So you went to sleep at night and wake up and they have six more thousand people
Hmm.
that have done this. And I understand, when you have family to feed and you have family to worry about, you're going to do what you have to do.
Yeah, yeah,
And at the end of the day, the government that's in Texas, you got your hands full. You got your hands full. And the reason why I say that is because, like we were saying earlier with the hospitals, frontline workers are at the brink of
yeah,
burnt out.
yeah.
They're right there, and so all of those immigration officers, for instance, are on the verge of break. They're on the verge of just throwing up their hands and saying, "Here's my white flag. Forget it. Like, let them in."
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine sitting down at the table eating my lunch, look up, and there's 10,000 damn people outside. I would be like, what? Nah, boss, I'm retiring today. Today is when I'm going to retire because what the hell? And they're outnumbered,
Yeah.
they're burnt out, they have no space, there's nowhere to keep them,
Nope.
and where the location is, it's very easy for people to just drift off into the woods.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me that one officer is gonna leave the herd for the one that just darted out into the woods?
Oh
Doubt
no,
it.
no, no. They have no
So
control.
there's no control over this, and so once they're able to, I don't know, have somebody maybe pick them up or escape that area, going out into the woods and stuff like that, that's it. It's a done deal. There's no ice coming for you at that point. It's done. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So it's sad to see that they infiltrated Texas the way they did, but I totally understand where they're coming from. When you
Mhm.
have family to feed and you have
Yeah,
picnic
they're
in mind
desperate.
and you
They're
have,
desperate. Yeah.
you know what I mean, you can't get no water or food to drink because you just had a hurricane. There's no president to help you. There's nobody that's leading the country to get the country back in good
Hmm.
shape.
Yeah.
So it's not a surprise, but what was surprising is how quickly. That was what was surprising to me. The numbers were surprising, yes, but how quickly the numbers increased.
Hmm.
You wake up and there's 10,000. Can you listen? No matter with it, I'm calling in sick. Okay.
Yeah. So
But
we're
one thing I
hoping.
wanted to point out was
Hmm.
when I saw the news clip about this this thing happening in Texas. The news reporter had mentioned that they had put a ban, an order that no aircrafts of any kind can go over that area. And I find it particularly suspicious that all of a sudden we don't want no aircrafts. So therefore no drones can pass over, no helicopters. We will not see any further of this on the news. And you know, with the government being what it is, you never know
Mm-hmm.
how shifty the government could be. You never know if all of a sudden we have an explosion, or all of a sudden the bridge start fall, or
Yeah, well,
all of a
I
sudden
don't want to take things to
I don't
that.
want to take it there, but why? That's my question. Why?
Yeah.
So I don't want to go deep into that, but I'm just saying that's the first thing that came to mind when I saw the clip and the news reporter saying that they put a ban of any aircraft going over that area. Why would you need to do that? Tell me, somebody, listeners, please.
Well, hopefully we're gonna, hopefully things work out for those
I pray for
immigrants,
them. I
and then
pray
hope
for
they
them.
get settled,
Mm.
and yeah, we'll see where this goes. But yeah, that was intense. Moving on to lighter subjects, the Met Gala happened on Monday,
Hmm.
and wow, 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 wow. And the theme was In America, the Lexicon of Fashion. And I took this as a translation of a celebration of American fashion, whether it is designers, whether it's iconic moments like Hollywood, movies, actors, music, culture, and I
Hmm.
don't think people got the assignment. I don't think they understood the assignment from what I've
I don't
seen.
think half of them cared.
Yeah, I think they didn't even try. Like there's
They didn't care. They're like, we get to go out and celebrate ourselves. We get to go dress up. Oh yeah, I'm going. I don't give a damn about your theme.
yeah.
I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. That's why
Yes.
Kim Kardashian was walking around in all black. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, girl? This has nothing.
Yeah. So I was just gonna shout out some of my faves, and then you could tell me one of your faves, or if you thought it was a disaster. So, my faves were Billie Eilish with a very Marilyn Monroe look. She
Very.
had two looks.
She. Oh, if you caught her at the right angle, she looked exactly like her.
Yeah, and her figure, she has a busty. That's kind of why, and because when she first came out, not only because she was a teen, but I think she wasn't really comfortable. She obviously wasn't comfortable with her body. I don't think she was trying to be androgynous, even though that worked in her favor. I think she just wasn't that comfortable with her body because she's very what do you call it, bosomy? Like she has
Busty. She
busty.
busty.
She's very busty. Yeah. So, but anyway, it fits her look. She's very Marilyn Monroe, and she's coming to her own as a woman.
I was like, Marilyn
Yeah. So I feel
reincarnated.
like she kind of got the assignment.
A
Then,
100%.
then Iman, she was wearing a big. It looked very African esque, which makes sense. She's East African.
Hmm.
Um, but I was trying to make an excuse for him. Like, okay, that could be construed as Native American. Like, it
No,
was very no. But
that's a
anyway,
reach.
it's okay. She
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 looked
was
good though.
she
She
was
looked
looking
good though.
very regal in her outfit. Then Zoe Kravitz. I can't remember the name of her designer. I wish I. Oh shoot, I forgot her designer. But I really liked her outfit. It was very see through. It was very revealing. But to me, I got like a punk rock and roll type of thing, which can kind of fit. And even if it didn't fit the theme, that's okay. Zoe Kravitz, you always win in my book. And finally, Miss Kiki Palmer, who was hosting with Vogue, she was interviewing all the
Kiki,
guests,
you love me.
and she was
Yeah.
giving me a very disco 70s Diana Ross, which again I still feel that's very American. The hair, the outfit, lovely. She looked amazing. And then I want to call out an ugly one, not an ugly one, but like a Y. Oh, shout out to Grimes. She looked pretty cool.
Yes.
And then finally, Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, no, I want to say Nas X he made a scene, he made a moment, but it was not giving. It was not giving what he thought it was giving, and that's it for me. Was there anything that caught your eye or you didn't like?
Yes. Yes. So first of all, I wanted to say that Riri,
Oh yes, how can I
Rihanna,
forget Miss? She listen.
Riri are on the red carpet.
Let me just say this. I'm forgive me, Riri. Forgive me, Robin. You're always in my top. You're always in my top. But I think you chilled. You chilled this
She
year.
did, but
But
you
she
know what I
never
liked
fails.
about it?
She never
What I
fails.
liked about it a lot
Hmm.
was she mixed that like red carpet look with like street
Yes, yes, yes.
and punk,
Yep.
and she was dripping. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, yes,
And I
yes.
thought she just. Whenever I see Riri, I'm like, Rihanna, who the hell is styling you? Because whoever they are, they need a raise, like ASAP. Okay, now. As I speak about ASAP Rocky, I wanted to
God, I'm
tell
so
him
mad
to
about
put
that.
his blanket down.
Yeah.
Put your blanket down. I understand you're trying to make a some sort of a fashion statement. Like I don't care
Mm-hmm.
about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. But nah, you could have chose a different blanket. That's all I'm saying
I actually
about
like
that.
the blanket.
I don't. I was just like, no. But I get what he was trying to
Yeah.
do.
It fit
But
the if it fit the blanket was the only element that fit the theme because American quilting and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, I get
actually,
it.
yeah.
I get it. But I just felt like, could we not have a blanket that had better color themes and stuff? I don't know. I just didn't like the
Uh,
blanket.
yeah.
I didn't like the quilt. I
Mm-hmm.
get his theme. I understand. But it kind of got lost in translation, especially when you're standing beside Rihanna. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Riri was doing the damn thing as she usually does.
Mm-hmm.
Met Gala, like everybody's always talking about Rihanna, and I think that I just love her fashion sense, and I
Mm-hmm.
love the fact that she's willing to take a risk.
Yep.
Wearing that toque, I was like,
Yep.
girl, stop. Another one that I liked was from Power. Taji, what's her name now? Johansson. What's her name again? From Power, the black woman that played Coco. What's her name?
I don't watch Power.
Oh
I know
God. Okay,
listeners.
Taji P. What's her flipping name?
I feel it.
Anyways, I'll move on to someone who I know their name. So, Diana Ross's daughter, um,
Yes, Tracy Ellis
Tracy
Ross.
Ellis Ross. I thought that she captured an essence of her
Yes,
mom.
yes.
She captured an essence of her mom. And I will say one thing, that Diana Ross is very American. That is
Mm-hmm.
very American.
Yes.
That whole era of Diana Ross
Mm-hmm.
is very American. And the fact that she represented her mom so well, I was like, yes, girl, yes. The one thing I did want to say is you need some more facial treatments because you're looking old around the mouth.
Oh, Lord of
Looking old around the mouth.
Lord. Girl,
I'm sorry.
let
I
her
love
live.
her though. Like I love her, but I was just like, you're looking all around the mouth. So you need a facial or two or something. I feel tighten up.
Oh
So she's a
Lord.
beautiful woman. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to diss her, but the one thing that kept standing out to me was on her face was her mouth area, like her nose and around her mouth. Anyway, another one, Tazi Johansson. What's her name, man? Anywho, moving on. I will say with Little Nas X, I need you to go sit down. I need you to take several seats down. You tried the three gold outfits. You
I felt like.
tried to make this whole entrance,
Hmm.
but to be quite honest, you didn't quite make it. You didn't quite make it in my book.
To me, if you're gonna do an entrance, at least I feel like you need to you really need to floor me. If you're gonna do all those theatrics, you need to literally floor me either with the spectacle or floor me with how well you execute the theme. And neither was done. I feel like this was a poor Lady Gaga and Zendaya imitation. It just was too tryhardish.
It was very tryhardish. I didn't like it at all.
Mhm.
I thought that it kind of, to me, you're trying too hard. You're doing too much.
Yeah, that's pretty much been him all 2021.
And I can understand that you're still trying to
Yeah.
etch your name into people's minds. I get it.
Yes.
However, that was a whole lot of wasted gold as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there's a lot
Um,
of gold.
There's a lot of wasted gold. But he tried his best. But that was all I thought, to be quite honest. Oh
Okay.
no, and Billie Eilish for me,
Mm.
I was like, Monroe? No. Did, What happened here? Because she looked identical to her.
Yeah.
Outside of her eyes, because I love Billy's eyes. Like
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
she
her
beautiful
eyes are
eyes. Yeah.
just they're just like woo. But outside of her eyes, I felt like not only did she capture the theme, but she also fit that dress very well.
Yeah, it was perfect for her.
And that voluptuousness, she needs to embrace it because you look good, girl. You look good. I loved her makeup, her hair, her dress. It just went with the whole theme, the whole look, the whole you can see it
Hmm.
Monroe all over her. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Okay, and finally,
Oh wait, hold on.
mhm,
Sorry.
mhm.
And there's one thing I wanted to say. Could you tell me what the hell Kim Kardashian was wearing and how that fit into the theme? Please and thanks.
She was wearing Balenciaga, and I don't think she cared about the theme. I'm not a Kim Kardashian fan, so I'm not gonna
Neither am
give.
I. That's why I was wondering what the hell is she
And
doing?
so otherwise, if I was a fan, trust me, I could make something up on the spot. But I'm gonna let her sit right there. And I'm pretty sure Connie obviously influenced that. That was another thing I was gonna say. That was clearly a Kanye thing. I think if he was there, maybe we could better explain it. But because he wasn't there, I'm gonna leave it right. I'm gonna leave it right there.
Yeah,
Just
that didn't make it, Kim. That didn't
yeah.
make it, girl. I think it was strange.
Mm. Okay, so moving on, and lastly, I just wanted to talk about. I was super excited because one of my favorite movies as a teenager, as a younger person, series was The Matrix, and
Mm-hmm.
I just on YouTube I came across that there was a new Matrix movie in the works. I think Matrix Resurrection, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And I didn't know nothing. You know, sometimes you know ahead of when movies are being made or
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, Matrix Resurrections, and I'm excited because my favorite actor my favorite actor at the moment, husband in my dreams, Yahya Abdul Mateen is going to be in there playing Morpheus. Kind of sad
Yeah.
that Lawrence Fishburne isn't taking back the role. Don't know what that, but I'm okay with Yahya being in there because he's some eye candy. I just like
He is gorgeous. He's
he's
a gorgeous
gorgeous.
man that
Um,
needs to be in the forefront of everything. See.
and he has been. He's been getting the bag. He's been cashing checks. He's been in
Mm-hmm.
roles. Okay, Watchmen, recently Candyman, where he was shirtless. Ladies, just
Mm-hmm.
FYI, if you want to see Candyman, there are some shots for you. Um, and then black it's I can't remember another Marvel movie he was in. I don't know, this guy's just getting all the roles, and I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that was weird was it had a different feel. Like, the Matrix is supposed to be is like sci-fi, new age, futuristic.
Right.
The
Mm-hmm.
hero, the coming of the new order. It was very much had a philosophy, and it was very much intense. And I was really into the whole storyline and plot and philosophy of the Matrix. But looking at this trailer, it had a different feel. It seemed a little bit more, what's the word, like I would say, like it has an offbeat kind of feel, like it's like kind of like a little bit more sarcastic, a little bit more comedic.
Right.
I don't know, I just got this feeling where it felt like it wasn't taking itself as serious. Like the first three movies were super serious, they were following this whole philosophy, and this
Yeah.
kind of comes across
Mm-hmm.
a little bit different. But you know what, excited, and we'll
I
see.
hope it's good because
Yeah.
you can't just come and make over the Matrix Bridget. You have to do that real good. You have to come with it because
Mm-hmm.
the Matrix is the movie. It was one of my favorite movies. I loved the message
Mm-hmm.
that the Matrix had. So they can do it up different all they like, but they better come hard. That's all I'm saying. You better come hard.
Okay, so we'll look out for that. And then finally, in music news, so the biggest story in music that happened was the VMA Awards that
Mm-hmm.
happened. And the VMA Awards, MTV VMA Awards, there's always drama, there's always something to talk about when that
Yep.
happens. Just two standout things. Okay, so first I want to mention drama between the two Caucasian boys. where the MMA fighter Conor McGregor threw his drink on MG Machine Gun Kelly, which was very, very weird. I don't know what happened, but I saw the video, and you know.
I thought that was so stupid. But he's trying to draw attention to
I think it was
himself.
a. I feel like it was a publicity stunt, to be honest.
Because you're a boxer at a music awards. You know what
And
I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, this is not really your lane. It's not
hmm
really your lane. So he was trying to draw attention to himself, which he did successfully.
and then performances. We had huge performances from Doja Cat, who is also the host. She did an amazing job. Okay, Doja Cat, let me just say this. Doja Cat, for me, when she first came out, I was a fan. Then
Me too.
they came out with a story where she was race baiting in these weird group chats,
Yep.
and then I was kind of looking at her side eye.
Yeah, I fell
But then
off.
and then like I just but her talent and her success,
It's so raw.
it's
It's just
so
jeez.
it's like making I'm like, okay, Doja, I think I'm back, you got me back, girl. I'm gonna take that stuff that you were doing as a joke, and you were doing it like meta and subversively. I'm gonna sweep that under the rug, because you, to me, are the top artists of 2020 and
Yes.
2021, and I think she should have won the award that Justin Bieber won, which is Artist of the Year. But whatever. And then,
But
okay,
Bieber's album, when he dropped it, like, I
it was a
must
good
say,
album. Yeah.
it was a good album, and you could tell growth. He had growth.
Yeah, no. The thing is, yeah, he don't get me wrong. Justin had the song of the year with Peaches, which I think he won for that. But I feel like Artist of the Year, Doja has been everywhere, performing everywhere. That was just what my basis is. Both, obviously good, but to me, Doja has been putting in that work.
She has
Also,
been putting in that work, and I'm glad she's putting in the work and take her ass off of social media, because it's going to harm your career.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
no, for real. Because when I first heard her music, I was like, this is sick.
yeah.
I even told my fiance, I was like, this is the shit. You need to listen to her.
Yeah.
She's tight. Her music's tight. Then I hear all of these, and I saw certain things and certain clips, and I fell off. I really did fall off. But I'm not gonna say that her music isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my support is like wishy washy with her,
Mm-hmm.
because every time I listen to the girl song, I'm like, so that's what you think about black people, eh?
Mm.
That's what you think about your hair type, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go sit down. Go sit down someplace. Right?
Okay.
So, mm-hmm.
Nas X and Chloe performed, Normani performed. I'm gonna say Doja Cat for me had the best performance. She is a master, and Normani had a pretty good performance. Even though she was lip syncing, that's
The
okay.
whole
Whatever.
time. Yeah.
Everybody does. Um, yeah. Was there
But her,
anything?
but what I will say about Normani is that girl can dance.
She can dance. That's what I mean. Her performance won me over because of the dancing.
She reminds me of Janet, because
Mm.
Janet can put it down. Like, when she performs, she can put it down. Like, she can dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like it kind of substituted for the fact that she was lip syncing the whole damn song.
Yeah, because she was
But
dancing her
I
ass
was
off.
right. It was like, eh. But I'll give you a blind, because whoever choreographed that routine knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, and they wanted her performance to be unique, because we haven't seen the abilities of a dancer like that in a while. I know Doja Cat. She's been, she can dance too. She can put on a move. But I just felt, and actually, I would say Doja Cat is a better performer, because she can
Oh
actually
yeah,
sing and
yeah, yeah,
dance at
yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah.
time, which is a talent.
Hmm.
Um,
And Doja Cat is gonna push the boundaries.
100%.
Cat's gonna give you something weird. She's gonna give you something otherworldly.
Yeah, but whatever costume she was wearing when she won her award, Jeanette, somebody needs to tell her there's weird, and then there's this. Okay, because this what you're doing right here. Even at one point she had to say, I never thought I would be accepting an award in this costume here. Looking like a worm. I just, I like people who are different, but I
Hmm.
find it's almost like we're at the theater with her. You know, it's too theatrical for me. Like sometimes you can be different, but it's like this is like I couldn't take my eyes off of what the hell she was wearing. I couldn't even listen to what she was saying because I'm looking at this thing like I can barely see your face. Like what is this that you have on?
Hmm.
They lied to you. So, but you know what? Kudos to Doja. I mean, people who, are very eccentric and whatever, that's fine. Kudos to you. But I feel like sometimes for myself, it distracts me too much. And I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That's
I
okay.
did want to mention for Chloe's
Yeah.
performance. Right. Why are we licking mics and stuff? Like, why are we doing all that? Like, I don't know how's that performing. But she did a pretty good job, but there were points in time with her whole performance where I was like, this is so trashy for you, girl.
Yeah, that yeah, I hate to say it, but I oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying this because I love her, but I was
I love her
disappointed.
too, but it
I
was
was
trashy.
disappointed.
Come
I was
on.
disappointed with the slap. This was like a WAP performance. Like WAP, we could understand. You could be trashy with WAP because it's a trashy song. But
Exactly.
this is a you have a cool this Have Mercy is a really good song. It's it's up there. It's up, and you she didn't need to. For me, you don't need to do this. Like I think she's just very eager to prove herself and show herself. But I feel like you didn't need to do this. If you brought it down 3 notches, trust me, this would have been. Oh, I don't
It
know.
would have been so much. I just the raunchiness of it
Yes, I
all.
don't. It's not on brand for me. It's not on
It's
brand.
not, and I understand you're trying to prove yourself, but you are an awesome talent. Like you
Hmm.
are awesome at what you do. You can create music, you know how to sing very well, you can play a variety of instruments, you're a bright and intelligent black woman. Why are we on the floor like a dustbin? Can we get off the damn floor? What is up with the damn floor?
Yeah.
You just it just looked too raunchy for me.
Yeah.
And I love Chloe and
Hmm.
Haley, I love them
Yes.
both, and
Hmm.
I've been watching their career. You know what I'm saying? Like when they were a lot younger and they're coming up,
Hmm.
and I was thinking this is going to lose a lot of it. This is going to lose quite a bit of your audience
Yeah, I think
just
so. Yeah.
because it's too raunchy and it's
Yeah.
just not you.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, you don't need to be on all fours
You
and
don't need
licking
to do it.
mics and all that to prove yourself.
No.
You don't. Just sing, girl.
Yeah, so and people were very verbal about that. So again, like we talked about last week, I they need to go back to the drawing board, her team, because this is not it. Sorry.
No. Somebody
So
needed to tell her. And I one other thing I wanted to mention about her was is she supposed to be a Beyonce 2.0? Because I feel as though they're grooming her to kind of be the upcoming Beyonce. I understand nobody can take Beyonce's place. I know you're a part of the Beehive, so let me just put my disclaimer out. You hear me? So
mhm.
to all you Beehive peoples, I'm not saying that she's gonna take her place, but I think that she's the up and coming Beyonce. Like she's the younger version, the this generation version Beyonce. Beyonce will always be her, and but she's from a different time. She's from a different era, and there's a lot of people, young people now. Remember when we were listening to the list that they were rating her music from 1 to 10 or
Yeah.
the worst songs or whatever. I'm thinking maybe that girl was just of a different generation. Like she's of this young generation. She's the Chloe generation.
Well, I'm not sure what they're trying to do, but they're not doing it right, and they need to
No,
change it.
and I just want her to take the blonde out of her hair. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it like that because I loved the fact that she had her natural locks, brown hair, dark brown hair, natural locks. That's her. This blonde business here, I know you want to switch it up, flip it up, but why don't you choose a different color? You know what I mean? Like this blonde right here, it's just too
I think
Beyonce
the hair
esque.
is the least of the issues, but
No, but if
we
you
should. But as a
no, it
brand,
is no. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you on that one
mhm.
because there was points in times where she was performing and she had her back to the audience, and I was like, Beyonce, Beyonce? I didn't know you sang the song. And then she turned back around. I was like, oh shit, that's Chloe.
Yeah, they need to.
Okay.
And I think they need to stop recycling the Beyonce things, and just, I know they have the same team, but I think they need to bring in somebody else that is specifically tailored to Chloe, her personality, her brand. And I think everybody's seeing it. We're not the only. Everybody's seeing it.
No, and
Everybody's
I
seeing it.
feel
So
like
I hope. I think that they're. I'm gonna assume if they're smart and they want this girl to succeed, they're gonna change directions real quick. So we'll look out
well,
for
the
that.
blueprint that is Beyonce's career is Beyonce's blueprint. Can
Yeah,
we leave it there?
it can't be duplicated at all.
And it shouldn't even, you shouldn't even try,
Yeah.
because I feel like they're losing sight of who she is, and she worked damn hard to get to the point where she is, where Beyonce is backing her. Okay. And I just don't want, like I said before in other episodes, I don't want her identity to be lost.
Yeah.
And I find more and more people are talking about her looking like Beyonce. So are we focusing on Chloe? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I had to say, Beyonce, I didn't know you had a song called Have Mercy. Come off the stage, Beyonce. Thank you. But no, it was Chloe. She just, and you know what? Her face, her complexion, her height, she looks a lot like Beyonce. Other than her nose, she has almost that same honey complexion. She's
Mhm.
not a dark skinned girl. I don't care what nobody tells me.
No, she's
She's a
not.
light skinned girl. She has a lot of, just,
Yeah.
it's
But
too much.
anyway, I think if they know, I think the team that manages them is smart. So I think we're gonna see some shifting in gears soon. So we'll look out for that. So moving on to our next segment. That's our headlines for the week. Now we get into Wagwan for real.
Wagwan, for real.
And, in this segment, we like to talk about things that don't add up, things that don't make much sense in the headlines or on Twitter or social media or whatever. And we want to ask the hard question, what going for real?
Wagwan, for real.
And this week, we're going to be talking about Miss Miss Onika Mirage, aka Nicki Minaj,
Mm-hmm.
versus everybody on social media. Like, it's getting
The
weird,
world.
people.
The
But
world
Nicki
is
Minaj,
coming for
yeah,
Nikki.
it's a little bit much. So, this all started with people being, Nicki is very engaged with her fans in social media, and particularly on Twitter. So
Mm-hmm.
people were, her fans were asking, were trying to figure out if she would be making an appearance at the Met Gala, and she pretty much tweeted to her followers that she won't be attending the Met Gala because they were requiring that attendees have to be vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
So, she said, well, I'm not there, right? Pretty much, she said they needed to be vaccinated. And she said, if I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with the two strings that grips your face and your head, not that loose one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then she started retweeting some story, so she mentioned she's doing research, and then people started tweeting at her with stories, obviously mostly negative stories, or maybe there is positive, but she was retweeting some of the negative stories. And then, okay, here's a tweet that set off a whole
Oh Lord,
shitstorm,
here we go.
where she said that a story about her cousin's friend in Trinidad who became impotent after he received the vaccine. She said his testicles became swollen. His
Looks.
friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make
She
sure you're
needs the D. She
so
wants the
just
D.
she ended that and said, just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision and not bullied. And I don't think she said anything crazy, but anyway, moving on. So after she made that tweet that day, she got a lot of backlash. So Joy Reid, who's a news person in the States, and she's well known, and she has a show called The Readout, and she called out Nicki Minaj and saying, for you to use your platform to encourage our community to not protect themselves and save their lives, As a fan, I'm so sad that you did that. So that's her. And then so Nikki is a petty
Nikki will
bitch.
come for your neck.
So
Okay,
she did.
and
She
she
most
did.
certainly did. So she was like the two white men sitting there. She pretty much called her an Uncle Tom or Coon, aka Coon, and she said the two white
Bed
men
winch.
the
Okay.
the two white men sitting there nodding their heads because this Uncle Tomiana doing the work
Coming out, I can't.
doing the work child, how sad. So she went there, and then obviously then other celebrities came to Joy Reid's defense. Now the crazy part now is the politicians are getting involved.
This is like
Okay.
on the 6 o'clock news now. Like, what
Okay,
the hell?
The British Prime Minister is talking about Nicki Minaj, like it's all the way in England.
Like, this is an international thing now, B. I
Trinidad
saw
government,
clips of Trinidad, their news too. Their
yeah,
news was
the
talking about it
Trinidad
too.
government came in and said they don't know nothing
Oh,
about that incident. It's like now she's been invited to the White House,
oh gosh. No,
and
well, they're saying that she lied about that, but she didn't. Or at least I don't think she
well,
would.
maybe even if she did, I think it is official though. I think because they released, I think the White House even released a tweet as well. I can't find the tweet, but I think it is a real thing, even if it didn't. Yeah, on Wednesday said she's been invited to the White House. Um, well, yeah, okay, maybe. And then a White House spokesperson said the rapper was actually offered a call with a doctor to answer a question. So, okay, you're right. So she tweeted she was invited, but the White House said that she was offered a call with a doctor to answer her questions. But they did reach out to her. The main thing is White House is up in the business too, right?
They're on her phone. Like, they're on her
And
phone.
then Trinidad and Tobago's health minister, Terence De La Singh, said in a press conference, as we stand now, there's absolutely no reported side effect or adverse event of testicular swelling in Trinidad, and none that we know
Excuse me.
of anywhere in the world. Unfortunately, we wasted so much time yesterday running down this false claim. So it is getting crazy out here, and we have this as Wagwan for real because um
Really? Walk
why
one. Why
is
are we
this is
up
like
Nicki Minaj's
snowballing
ass?
this is snowballing into something completely different. I think Nicki Minaj was just trying to engage with her fans, and I think obviously people are mad because on Twitter she has 22 million followers. But she, I think, toed the line. She played it safe in her tweets. She didn't really say anything negative. She said she's still questioning things. She's not sure, and even I don't have. She did later on tweet to try and kind of contain things that I will be going when I go on tour. I will eventually go on tour, and I will have to take the vaccine, and I plan on doing it. But I'm in the research
She's doing her
phase.
research.
So I think that's fair. I think it's people are getting their panties in a knot, and they need to chill the fuck out. What do you
I
think?
think so too. Here's the only thing that I think she should really be cognitive of is that usually men don't get themselves checked out. They don't go to doctors. They don't keep themselves, in the knowing of their physical health. And so when you say words like impotent, okay, when you drop words like impotent, man's them is they're not in the line anymore for the vaccination. You see me? They're not in the line. As soon as they saw the clip, they're like, "No, I'm gonna walk away from my position in line. I'm done. I'm finished with this," because there's obviously men don't want that to happen. Now, that's the only part that I thought was like, yeah, you could have used a different wording or something because she was being very careful.
Hmm.
And I understand that. But you know what? She has the right to say and feel however she wants. And if that is, I'm unsure.
Hmm.
That's basically what she's saying.
That's all
I'm
she's saying.
unsure. I don't know. I'm trying to do my due diligence and find out. But as of right now, I don't know. I heard that people are impotent from this stuff. So I don't know about this. I need to find out. Okay, because I'm not having my husband line up then. See?
And the problem I
So
have with it is she's not the only celebrity. First of all, like I
that's
said, she
right.
was safe. There are celebrities who are outright like anti-vaxxers.
Yes.
So if there are other celebrities like that have downplayed and the vaccine, the mask mandates. Like for example, Buster Rhymes.
Yep.
There's a whole
In his
five
full
minute
concert.
there's a whole
Like,
5 minute video of Buster Rhymes going in on masks and stuff like that. Like I didn't see the president and the whole community just dep on and dump on him like that. Like there's lots of white conservative white actors or people of influence
yeah.
who are straight up anti-vaxxers. Why is Nicki Minaj being plummeted with backlash? Like I don't like it.
Well, and you know what I think is because sometimes Nicki Minaj touches the nerve of the
Mm-hmm.
wrong people.
Well,
She still is entitled to whatever the hell she wants to say. So that's why, for me, it's in the Wagwan for real. Why are we coming for her? Why do we want her head on a block? Like, I
and
don't understand
yeah,
it.
and
I
not
don't get
anybody
it.
else. That's the problem.
I don't get it. But she did touch the nerve of a lot of people, and
Mm-hmm.
they are definitely coming for her. And I don't know why. But Nikki, tread lightly, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Tread lightly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See,
And
it's a
now would
weird.
be the time to drop an album. Right now. Okay.
You definitely. I don't know, man, girl. Well, I'm praying for Nikki because this is a weird energy surrounding her, and yeah, that's really all I
A
have to
lot of
say
people
about
want to
that.
cancel Nikki.
They've
But
been wanting to, but you
I
know
know,
what?
but
She was smart,
she's too big of a personality, and
and she's
too
actually
many
pretty
people
smart.
go hard for her. And
Yeah.
she is smart. And I think that in everything that she said, word for word, because I read her words, I heard her words, and I said she was being very careful.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She was being very careful. And not only that, but she was coming from a human perspective, because
Yes.
at times, fans, she has 23 million people watching her every move, okay? So as fans, they put her on this god pedestal,
Yes.
and I don't think she wants to be there. And so she at times will show us her human
Yes.
side.
Yeah.
And some people it will sit well with, and some it won't. And in this case, Nikki, yeah, you need a PR to come and rectify something real quick,
I feel
see?
bad for her PR person right now.
They have some works to do,
Hmm.
okay? And if you do end up going to the White House, I think you need to somehow stage something where, you know, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do, but your PR is probably up pacing the floor, because they need to damage control ASAP. And on top of that, Nikki, you said what you said. You doubled down on it. Stop talking. Stop. Because it almost feels like you feel like you have to justify everything that you
No,
say.
at this point, I
You
think
said
it's
what you
getting out of
said.
hand. I think she should just go dark for a week. And I feel like this. I don't know if it's gonna die down because it's already snowballed into a big thing. But
There's
just
governments
chill.
all over the blasted world coming after this woman. The government don't have nothing to do.
Yeah. So
Logs, they have nothing to do. They're watching Nicki Minaj and what she has said. For real? Wow. Yeah, they need something to do. So I think it's gonna take longer than a week. I think we need to just go into the studio and need to drop an album right now. So yes, we are gonna now move on, listeners, into our call out.
it's the call out.
The call out.
The call out.
Here is where we turn to each other and we put each other in the hot seat and we ask each other a question. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't really prepare too tough for this question, y'all saw.
That's okay.
But I do have one. And I don't know where it came from. So the question is, if you could remake one fairy tale,
Ooh.
one fairy tale to have more of the black culture in it, which
Okay.
one would it be? Mine is Snow White,
Why is that?
because I feel like we could get. You see how she has the seven dwarfs?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I feel as though we could have a plethora of characters in the black community that we can all relate to, that could be one of the seven dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the reason why I thought of this question is because I have a little one at home,
Yes.
and we were talking the other day. We were watching Mary Poppins,
Yes. Oh, I love that movie.
I love me some Mary Poppins.
Did you watch the new one or the original one?
Both. We
Okay.
saw the because I she saw the new one first, and then
Mhm.
I was like, "This isn't no Mary Poppins guy. You need to see the real Mary Poppins guy." So I was like, "Let's watch the real one, like the first one, the original."
Mhm.
And so she's like, when we watched it, and she's like, "Yeah, this is better." And I was
Oh,
like,
see?
"Exactly. I'm telling you, chim chim chiroo. Thank you."
Julie
But
Andrews is a treasure.
she is a treasure. She really is. And so I was thinking, I wonder, if I could turn some sort of fairy tale
Mhm.
into like a black version and up to date,
Mhm.
what would it be? And I thought of Snow White because I was like, you could get a lot of characters in
There's a
there.
lot of characters. I think yeah, that's a good that's my criteria is like based on the amount of characters because I wouldn't do like Goldilocks and the Three Bears because it's limited. It's just really Goldilocks and the Three Bears and a wolf, right? So I can't.
Exactly.
But I think it's a toss up between The Little Mermaid and Cinderella, and
Okay.
I think
Mm-hmm.
okay, but for the sake of this, I think I'll just choose Cinderella because again, the amount of characters in Cinderella.
Right.
So sorry, did you say Cinderella?
No, I said Snow White.
Oh, you said Snow White.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
Cinderella is the one with the stepsisters and everything, right?
Yes. And
Okay,
the
so
stepmom, yeah.
and the stepmom and the prince. So yeah, just based on the amount of characters, with there's so much diversity, I would choose Cinderella. But I feel like the Little Mermaid is beautiful because it's like water and water gods and princesses
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of characters too. But you see, not Chloe, Haley Bailey isn't gonna be in the remake of that. And again, I think I've said this before, that was a perfect choice for what's her name, Ariel. She was a
Ariel,
perfect.
yeah.
She literally embodies that pureness, that be a beautiful voice. So
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of already getting that with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to see that. But yeah, that Cinderella, just with the diversity of characters, the stepmom, the stepsisters, and everything, it's a beautiful
Right.
story. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's your question. Cool question. I actually had something that was semi movie based as well, so that was fun.
Okay.
So I am a big fan of zombie movies. Like I've said, I'm a horror girl, and I was thinking like so one of my favorite zombie movies is 28 Days Later. Another popular one is Resident Evil. I know you're not that person, but just thinking in the scenario based question here. In a zombie apocalypse, which person in your circle, whether friend or foe or family or even a fictional character, do you believe you would survive with?
Boom. Um.
And let me know if you want me to start off.
Yes, please do. I have to think about that. Mm.
Okay, so for me, I would choose my niece.
Mm.
My niece is 30 years old, just for listeners to know. She's not a child. We're very close in age and we grew up very close. She's like my younger sister. And she is just so. This is a woman, not a little girl. This is a woman who's very fierce. She gets things done. She doesn't play. She doesn't ramp.
Mm-hmm.
She's very resourceful.
Yup.
She's very resourceful, like her mother was.
Yup.
I just feel like she would be like, "Listen, Jeanette, come on, let me go on, let's
Let me
go,
go on.
let's
Without
hack,
time feed. Let's
take the
go.
machete, cut up these people, let's go, we got this." So,
Right?
I can just, it's so funny. She's a little petite girl, but trust me, she's so
Oh
fierce.
man, she's fierce. Fierce when you're ready, yeah.
So yeah, that's why I'd go with her and my niece Nadine.
Oh gosh, and now come back to me again.
Yes, come back to you again.
I'm gonna say my mom. And the
Okay.
reason why I'm gonna say my mom is because this lady can do like I haven't seen one thing that she can't do. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like she could do preserves, she could cook over a fire, she could do a sata thing.
Yes,
And
resourceful.
she's the type of person that if you were to get hurt,
Hmm.
she would be able to tell you how to take care of yourself and how to.
Yeah.
So she would be someone I think very knowledgeable,
Hmm.
beneficial. She's from old school, so she knows how to, you know, like I said, I don't know one thing that she can't do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that because she's my mom and
No.
I love her, but she really knows a lot of things that I try to take from her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She knows how to cook really well. There's not a food that she can't cook. You know what I'm saying?
You're
She
talking
can cook.
about she's a survivalist. She's
She's a survivor.
resourceful.
Let me tell you, she knows
But
how.
Kim, is she savage?
No, she's savage when she's ready. Like
Okay.
don't play around.
That's what I want to make sure.
Don't play around. When she's ready, she's like, no, we don't have time for this. We need to
Okay.
push past these zombies right here.
Okay,
So here's
perfect.
how we're gonna do it. And she'll have a strategy.
Okay, there we
You know,
go.
and she's very intelligent.
Hmm.
So I would want her there beside me because if you get hurt, she knows how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And from what I understand, zombies can smell blood.
Yeah.
From what I understand. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to wrap that up. If I get cut, we need to wrap it up. But not only that, she's savage when she's ready, and my mom can look at things from a very different perspective than most.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want her on my team, but I know it's my mama. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna choose somebody else as well.
No, I feel like you made a good choice. You don't need
Okay, fine.
you don't need to have like don't be
No, well, it
think
was a tie in my head.
a
It was a
tie. Okay, go.
tie.
Okay, good.
But
Give me the tie.
my mama, she
Okay, who's person two?
I would say this is gonna be surprising. You're probably gonna be surprised, but my sister,
Mm-hmm.
because she's one person I know for sure
Mm-hmm.
that can survive.
Yes. Yes.
She don't pussyfoot around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening, sis, you and me, I tackle them. See?
Yes.
Yes. Because when she's shown me as an older sister,
Hmm.
she can survive. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And yeah, so they're
Good.
tied, but my mom won out because she has medical
Yeah, she's a
experience.
registered nurse. You can't go
You
wrong
know
with
what I'm saying? Like,
that.
hello. So
Okay, those are really good choices. Yeah, because you're gonna need as long as you have that savage energy on top of everything
well,
else.
I think I'm very savage like. So I
You
at
carry that
times
balance.
I can be very savage like and sometimes I try to scale back because I know I have a daughter and sometimes I'm very savage like. You know what I mean? And she doesn't know how to roll with it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But for the most part, I think between my savagery and my mom's knowledge,
Mhm.
yo, we'll take over the world, Brenton.
Yes.
And
Yes.
somehow we will convince these zombies to go sit down.
Sit
So
on.
go sit down. And then we'll meet you and your niece up in
Yeah.
the tower. Meet you up in the tower.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, but that's a good question. I like that. I like that. So to keep it moving, all right, we're gonna keep it moving, and we're gonna go into the workout.
Workout.
This is where we work out the heart and exercise the mental fitness into a deep dive discussion on issues that are impacting our culture, impacting us, impacting the world.
The world.
So, what we're going to talk about today now is home ownership. The struggle is real.
So real.
The struggle is real. And we are going to, I guess, take this more from the perspective of a Canadian and home ownership here. I know I've never owned any property in the States. I always see, the different shows on home improvements or home
Yeah.
buying or real estate
It's
shows.
always unique to where you live, but I feel like there's also the millennial. We fall into the millennial character, and I
We
feel
do.
so.
We
I
do
feel like some people
definitely.
can relate to that. Yeah.
Yes, and in the States I find that for some particular reason it's cheaper to buy a house over there. I don't know what.
Yeah, depending
But
where you live.
anywho, we're gonna take it from this perspective here. So I'm gonna open the floor to you
Mm-hmm.
because you are a homeowner. I'm a
Okay.
renter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be a homeowner. but the government here don't want to control things around here, so and it's very difficult to own
Yeah, so
property here, so.
it's so hard, and I want to share an anecdote to why this became the topic for the episode this week, and then I'll kind of share my experience, and then we can kind of discuss the climate it is in Toronto where we're living
Mm-hmm.
right now. And so this week I was on Instagram on our page, Hearts and Minds Pod on Instagram. Everybody,
Yeah.
follow us. And I was on blog to page, and so they had a TikTok or something showing a triplex, pretty much a triplex, which is a house that has three units, separate units that people can live in, and in Trinity Bellwoods, which is a very popular place to live with young professionals and young people in Toronto. It's a really hype, pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to, cool place to live.
It's popping.
And
Mm-hmm.
it was 2 point listed for 2.5 million. So they're saying this is what 2.5 million or something, say two something, just over 2 million can get you in Toronto. And so they're highlighting the three units and everything, and it was pretty cool. And I was like, and I made a comment that actually it may seem high, but it's actually worth it. Like, you're literally, even if you could live in one unit and rent out the two other units at a very high rate because
Mm-hmm.
of the location, right?
That's right.
And so a lot of people came for me. Well, not, there was two people came for me, and then I had one supporter in the replies. I was like, oh, chill, like, people are angry. So it kind of let me know the climate.
Mm-hmm.
Young people are very frustrated
Very.
with the prices in Toronto, but realistically, or even the process of getting a mortgage
Yep.
here in Toronto, to get your place. But I mean, and somebody who was like minded was like, yeah, you're actually smart, because when if you get this, it's like the income, the return on your payment is you get that, like, just financially. If you're a homeowner, you would get that. So obviously the renters were the ones who were frustrated, and that's fine. I understand, and I'm with them. And so getting into my story now is, I bought my place about 4 years ago. It was the process was not easy. I'm on my, I'm not married. I didn't have anybody. The person that helped me was my mom. I only had like 15K, and she helped me. Obviously, you can't get a place with 15K. You can't even get a place with 30K right now, right?
Nah, man.
So anyway, I had
50 to 70.
the only
Okay.
way, I'll be honest, yeah, I got my place when I was like, 32, around that age. And I was ready to move out on my own, and I was ready to rent. I was okay with that because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's too hard. But my parents didn't want me to rent. Most parents, they say that to people, but they realistically, it's really hard in Toronto at the time. You even a one bedroom for rent was minimum 1,400, like renting a condo.
And just to put it in perspective, listeners, $1,400 is a hole in the wall. It's
Yeah.
not an elaborate
Yeah, you're
setup.
probably going to get 600 to 700 square foot.
It's not a lot.
No.
And depending on the area, it could be in a not nice area either.
Hmm.
So when you say 14,
That's minimum. So yeah, if
that's a
you wanted a
minimum.
nice place, you're probably gonna pay 1,700 or
Easy.
1,800 for a really nice place, or a place downtown. You're gonna get up into the 1,900, 2,000. That's just one bedroom for yourself alone, right? And so obviously going forward from that was a few years ago. It's probably worse now, but
Oh, yeah.
obviously, my parents, like, when you break it down, like, that's a mortgage, right?
Yeah.
So,
Pretty
and I
much.
was fortunate enough I did have help. So it's not easy to do it on your own, obviously. Even as a young couple where both have decent salaries, I have friends who've
Mm-hmm.
done that. It's still not easy. It's doable, but it's not the average person. Both of you are gonna have at least a solid income and both good credit. So that's not always the case. And I would say it was very scary because, you're looking at these places, and, first of all, it's getting a place now, right? You have to
Yeah.
fight to get a place. Even when I was fortunate, when I was getting my place, there was not bidding wars and stuff that's happening
Yeah.
now. The
Yeah.
competition, there's not enough inventory for people to
That's
get.
right.
So the minute a house goes up nowadays, it's gone. Like, you go in there once, and you better know what the hell you want, because
Immediately.
if you're hemming and hawing, you're not gonna get the place straight.
And you better have some, extra money on the side for that
Yes.
bidding war,
Mm-hmm. And
because the
mm-hmm.
likelihood of there being one
Is
is
very
high.
high. Very high. Yep.
So you need to have, some extra tucked away someplace.
And something that I didn't like, I was prepped. My agent told me, my agent was my dad, he does real estate, so I did have obviously a better insight and a lot more transparency than maybe the average person. But something that I really didn't account for, even though he told me, was the closing costs. So yes, you have your
Mm-hmm.
down payment. So in a hypothetical scenario,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Some
even know
closing
now.
costs,
The
boy.
price is
Yes.
price like your first. Although Ontario does have a rule where your first house, there's some tax. There you get
Tax
waived.
deductibles and stuff.
There's a lot of tax deductibles and
And
charges.
first ownership, home
The first,
ownership or something like that.
yes, they
Yeah.
waived. So they waived closing. So that was $8,000 gone because it was my first home. I didn't have to pay. There's like some Ontario, some transfer, something that it
Mm-hmm.
gets waived when you buy
Mm-hmm.
your first home. And so yeah, so and it was it was an eye opener. It wasn't easy, and
Mm-hmm.
I think if you do it with somebody else, it's a lot easier. But you're gonna have some sleepless nights.
Pretty much, right?
But yeah, so that was my journey, and I'm so
Mm-hmm.
happy. I am so happy. If you can do it, people who
Do it if
if
you
you can do
can.
it, do it, because this is an asset that you always have. Yes, maybe
Yep.
you can't see, as long as you're making your mortgage and you have your little money you can to manage. I think something that you should budget is to make sure you can afford, when you pay your rent, afford all your expenses, what you have to
Yeah.
deal with every month. First, make sure
Yeah.
you're doing that and plan that in your budget when you're buying.
Yes.
And make sure that you can still save, manage to save a little bit, like you could save $300 $400 in your account, still manage to do
Yes.
that. But you know what, even if all, yes, so especially when you start, all your money is going into your place. But you know what, if I need 50,000 right now, I can go get it.
ASAP.
I can get it because I own my place. So there's
Mm-hmm.
there's a benefit of that. Yeah, you're saying all your money's going into your house when you own it, and it's like a lot of commitment. But in the same breath, you have an asset for you,
That will
and
help you in
you're
future.
technically not broke, because if you need money, but you could get money based on the house, got off of your house. I don't
Exactly.
encourage that. There's a lot of horror stories, a lot, especially in the minority communities, where they take
Yep.
out so much money out of their house and their mortgage, and pretty much have to remortgage your house. So people, especially black people, please stop doing that. But
You
anyway,
use it as an investment. And so, from the perspective of a renter,
yes.
so when I decided to leave my parents' house, I was older in age and I wanted to have my own house, but I just wasn't in that position. So I went on into renting. And to be quite honest, renting is no cheaper
Nope.
than actually owning.
Nope.
It's just the logistics of going through the process to own.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of down payments, you need at least 50K and above to make
Yep.
a difference or to even not be laughed at
Mm-hmm.
by the bank.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, now they've put in an insurance where if you are under, I think, 5%, that you have to sign up for this insurance. And it's for
Under
if
20,
you,
it's actually under 20%.
oh, it's actually 20. Okay.
Yeah. So if typically it's so just typically when you're doing a down payment, before it was like 5, 10. You can't do 5 anymore. So now it's 10, minimum 10, and then once you get to 20, you don't need the insurance. But any, like, so for example, I did 10, so I need that insurance. I have to pay that insurance on top of my
Right,
mortgage.
and it's mandatory,
Yes.
so that if something were to happen and go south, you're still covered and you're still protected.
Yeah.
And I understand that, and that's great. But when you're talking dollars and cents and not percentages, that's a lot of damn near money,
Mm-hmm.
especially when most properties. And I couldn't believe it. I saw literally what I would consider a shack being, no, no, for real, for real, for real, here up in Aurora, because I live in York Region, and so they have a newspaper, and at the back of the newspaper, it shows you properties being sold and bought and all, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
and the classifieds. And so I saw pretty much what I would consider a shack on a lot of land, and it sold for 1.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the property and I said, the only reason why that sold so high is because some builder is going to knock that house down and
Yep.
put two houses where it stood.
Exactly.
And it was a lot of land that it was on. And I couldn't believe that even this is 1.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just down the street from me, because I live in like a condo style set up
Mm-hmm.
for the my building. It's a shorter building, so I have a little bit more square footage than most. But down the street from me, were like signs on top of signs on top of signs for townhouses, overbid, over asking, multiple bid. So because there's such a high demand here, you like you said earlier, you have 5 and 6 people bidding for the same house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have more money, obviously you're going to win. And those other 4 or 5 people can sit down and wait till the next house comes available,
Mm-hmm.
which are far in between nowadays.
Yep.
They're not building like they used to with all that COVID is going on with. Just the simple things like lumber is very expensive right now.
Mm-hmm.
To get a fridge, they're on back order for
They're
most
back orders. I'm
stores,
hearing horror stories. Yep.
right? My parents wanted to get a new fridge, so they go to the store and they saw the one that was on the floor. And my mom never likes to take things that are on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
so she wanted one that was from the back. And he said, there's none in the back. If you want to go on a waiting list for about a year and a half, then you can do that. And my mom said, so can you wrap that one up right there that's on the floor? We'll just take that one right there
Yeah,
for sure.
she had to she had to come off of her typical.
Right? No, but I understand why. All these
Yeah.
people, especially with the
No,
COVID
I'm
going
with her
on.
on that. That's fair.
Right? But then she's like, no, we're not doing a year and a half. We need the thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Just simple things like that to make a house, to build a house is very expensive, because of this COVID and lockdowns and, even importing and exporting, like the tariff fees and stuff. Things are expensive. So they're not building houses the way they used to. Um, I know that with the banks, you know, our government here, our Prime Minister Trudeau has tried different things over the years to get this under control. One of them being international buying. Now, up where I am, there's lots of new builds and they're vacant because they have people who have bought them from other parts of the world and they're just sitting there unused while we have bidding wars left, right, and center, while the demand is getting higher and higher. So he tried to control, international buying. Okay, that didn't do nothing. That didn't do much. Okay, and over time, the banks, for instance, their interest rates are at an all-time low,
Mm-hmm.
which is perfect to buy
Yep.
with a bank and get a mortgage because your interest rate is like 2 point something percent or 1 point something
Oh,
percent.
yes. At one point, I have a friend who got it under 1% in during the pandemic last year.
Right? I
Mm-hmm.
know. A family friend of ours got it for, I think it was 1.3 or
Yep,
4.
that's amazing.
And I was like, what? Uh, yeah, a lie. So the banks are even trying to step in and lower their interest rates, and they've stayed that way and they will stay that way for another little while, at least until, from what I heard, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. But when you have the property itself being 1.5 million, that interest rate doesn't really mean much
Mm-hmm.
because you need a large down payment. Your mortgage is going to be high, whether the interest rate is low or not. You're paying on a house that's 1.5 million. So, with that being said, you're not getting the bang for your buck. Back in the day, you buy a house for 1.5 million here, that's a mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Now, a 1.5 million could be, like I said earlier, the shack up in Aurora. You understand? And so, with all that said, it's very discouraging for us young people who are trying to be homeowners. And yes, the struggle is real out there. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but I can speak for myself here. And, me and my fiance have been talking about this for a while, and the reality of it is really daunting. It's
Mhm.
really, it's a scary thought.
Well, I wanted to share some stats that you and your fiance are not the only one in that bucket. So, Toronto, in fact, has the lowest rate of home ownership when compared to bigger cities. Toronto and Vancouver have the lowest rates of home ownership amongst older millennials, which fall into our
And they
age
have the
group, which is
highest the highest standard of living.
30 to 39. The average home prices in Toronto. So I can give you. Okay, so Toronto, Vancouver have the lowest home ownership rates among millennials, which is 30. The older millennials, which is 30 to 39, and then Edmonton and Calgary, which are in Alberta, which is a growing province,
Yep.
have the highest rates of home ownership
Yep.
among older millennials. So roughly one more than one and a half more than Toronto and Vancouver. And
It's a
then
true thing. It's a true
looking
thing.
at average home prices in Toronto is just about 1.1 million in Toronto. Vancouver, which higher cost of living, is 1.2 million. Montreal is 499,000.
Can you imagine?
And then Hamilton, which is an emerging place just outside of Toronto, about 45 minutes outside of Toronto, is 787.
I cannot believe that.
And then East Coast, when you get on the East Coast in Nova Scotia and Halifax, those areas, it's 498, which is it was that was higher than I thought it was gonna be, to be
Me
honest.
too. I
But
would say maybe 5, 10 years ago, it was at least half of that.
yeah, but Halifax is, but that's specifically in Halifax. Maybe New Brunswick's and other eastern provinces, it's not as high, but Halifax. And also in Ontario, they said there's a study done by OREA, which is the Ontario Real Estate Association,
Mm-hmm.
and it said more than 56% so that's more than half of non-homeowners, which are renters mostly, have either given up or are very pessimistic about the possibility of buying a home in the community they want to live in. And
Well,
and finally, according to the Toronto Star, the average house in 1971
can you imagine?
was about 30,000 or 30,000 and 30,500, which is equivalent. So the value of that today's modern time would have been 200,000. So that's more than 5 times. So since the 1970s,
Can you
housing
imagine?
has increased over 5 times, which is 500 600%.
Jesus.
Yep.
And
So yeah, you're not the only one.
being and thank you. That's reassuring. I know the struggle is real, but to hear the numbers is really an eye opener.
Hmm.
And I think that from what I heard right now, like we said before, we're going through an election process, and Trudeau, which is now who is currently our premier, he is
Prime Minister.
thinking, sorry, Prime Minister, that he is thinking that he needs to do something about this situation. And he needs to move quickly. And the reason why I say that is more and more people are leaving Ontario. More and more millennials like us
Hmm.
are leaving Ontario and going to places like Alberta.
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. A close family friend of ours, of my mom's, her daughter, who is roughly my age, or I think she's more your age than mine, but
Or she
anyway,
falls into the millennial category.
she's in
Yeah.
our millennial thing.
Hmm.
And so she decided, she's a single girl. She didn't have nothing, she was living with her mom.
Hmm.
She's a teacher, and she just couldn't make no headway. And she wants what most people want, to have a home and, to have a good career. And for some particular reason, she wasn't getting any traction like most of us. And she up and went to Alberta,
Hmm.
to Edmonton.
Yeah.
And the reason why she did this is because she's going to get to have a full time position as a teacher. She's going to be making a lot more money than she will here. And to buy and own a property is more realistic out there than it is here. So, yes, the winters out there are hard.
Ooh, they are
They
tough
are
over
hard.
there.
I have family out there, and they say it all the time. They're like, "Oh, you guys got 15 centimeters? That ain't nothing. That's a
Oh,
Wednesday for us."
so you know what I found here in Edmonton? The average home price in Edmonton is 398. So yeah, yeah, she's got an
If
advantage.
you were to take, because like I said, I had family out there, and if you took $500,000 and went out there, you would be living high off the ass. I'm
Hmm.
telling you right now. You would have close to what we would consider a mansion, okay? For 500,000. If you took the same $1 million, you would have a whole compound.
Hmm.
So the difference, and there's so much land out
Yeah,
there.
there's a lot of land.
There's lots of land and there's lots of room to build. It's just cold as hell. And
Hmm.
there's lots of snow and it is open land. So you can just imagine the elements.
Yeah.
However, if you could get closer to where like the capital is, you could still do pretty well for yourself. And just the opportunity of being able to own. So if she go when she goes up there, my plan would be if I were her, buy a house, make a money, and if you want to come back, now you can actually enter into this whole arena.
Hmm.
Because right now, I'll be honest, it's hard to picture, it's hard to imagine, it's hard to hope for, to even being able to think about it. Now, I'm never going to give my hopes up. I
Hmm.
always have my hopes up. I always thrive. That's the savage in me.
Yeah.
Is that I'm not going to stop until I get one.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
That's how I stay. I don't stop until I put myself where I want to be.
Hmm.
Um, there's certain areas of the city that I think are you might be able to get something just under
Hmm.
$1 million.
Oh yeah, they're there. Don't get
They're
me wrong.
there, but
Yeah.
they're far in between, and you
Yeah.
have to be on your
You
grind.
better, yeah, you need to have everything ready. You need to have everything set. You need to have that deposit check ready to go. You can't be humming it. You need to know exactly what you want. It's just.
There's no time. There's no room for that.
Mm.
So, as I was saying earlier, the struggle out here is real. It's a great place to live. Canada is a beautiful place to live. I'm not saying that it's not. We have, you know, so much around us and so much available to us, but at a really steep price.
Well, there's
So,
options. People just need to get out of the city life, man. Like, the states,
but
the
Jeanette, you have
places
to
that.
go far out
Well, I mean,
wrenching.
you have. Well, like we said, you have to be realistic. The numbers are there. It's possible. So go where the numbers are. And go, go from there, because Toronto, like the big cities, the prices aren't going down. So it's kind of doing your research and being smart about it.
Right. And you know what? It's true. But you really have to be on your grind.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on it.
Oh
So
no.
when you were saying earlier some sleepless
Oh
nights,
yeah. Whew.
you better believe, you better have your realtor on speed dial. You understand me? Because it's not a joke around here. And
No.
even to rent, like I was saying
Oh
earlier, I am a
yeah.
renter.
Yeah.
Renting, it doesn't allow you much to save
Yeah,
because
that's a problem. Yeah.
that's the problem, right? So where I'm at, I have maybe 1,000 square feet, maybe just under 1,000 square feet. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. I have my own, laundry and all that stuff. But I'm paying 2 grand.
Hmm.
You understand? And I got in here at a good time, because it was a lot lower. But in the years that I've been here, it has increased drastically.
Hmm.
And so even if I wanted to leave here, with the pandemic, I think they've kind of put a hold on increasing rent.
Hmm.
But if I wanted to leave here, to get a townhouse to rent, we're talking at least 3,000. You're not, you're not living in a palace. So, 3,000 is just, just enough space.
Mhm.
Maybe I get another, 500 square feet or another 1,000 square feet, but I'm paying another $1,000. And that's minimum. That's a minimum.
Mhm.
Now, with this whole COVID thing going on, if you want to rent townhouses and so on, people don't want to have to leave their properties vacant and have to pay their mortgage on their own. So they want to get people in the houses. So they might drop it just under 3 grand. But what you have to deal with is everybody else trying to get into that same townhouse.
Yeah.
Because with this pandemic, a lot of people who live in buildings downtown,
Yeah.
they were leaving in the droves because they want more space. They're working from home. They want to have their yard. They want to
Oh
have,
yeah, I fall in that bucket. Yeah, being a
right?
condo resident, I want to get it. I'm trying next spring. That's my goal, but we'll see.
Right? And so a lot of people are on that same tip where they might have had a condo downtown and they want to get out from the downtown life. They want to have, a townhouse where they can have a backyard. Like I said, people are working from home more, so they want an office. They want a separate space for their office. And so now people like myself are competing with those people who were downtown and didn't mind that lifestyle, now wanting the same things that I want. So again, with bidding, even to rent, you have multiple people trying to rent the same place. So you end up in a situation where you feel very,
Trapped?
yes, thank you, trapped, because you can't buy. You're competing with all these other people that want the same thing you want. And even when you get into the house, the intention for me is not to rent my entire life. Oh, hells no. I strongly believe in myself, and I suggest all you listeners do the same. Believe in yourself enough where whatever goal that you put out for yourself, you will achieve.
Hmm.
And so that is a goal that I have for myself, but I'm not going to say it's not daunting, and I'm not going to say that it's not a feeling of being trapped. I can't go this way and I can't go that way. So right now, I just put together my little pittance and put it in it, stash it up, get my little bank going. So when the time comes, I'm ready to play some real ball here. I'm ready to step into the game
Hmm.
with no hesitation. So the struggle is real out here, everyone. Okay, it's
Yeah, but as a,
real.
I could see to put a positive, like we said, like you're trying to be positive and you have your goal, and everybody, I'm sure all our listeners have their goal. I would say if you're in a if you're in a city like us where it's super competitive and very expensive to get to be, to buy your first home, go outside. Maybe your first home won't be in the city that you want. Like we said in the study that they said over half, 56%, have given up and about the possibility of buying in your community. Well, maybe you can't start with your community, but another strategy that I could leave you with is go outside your community, get
Mm-hmm.
a new development, get it right off of paper, get that place, and by the time that place is ready and you're ready to go, most of the time the price may have doubled. If you're lucky, sometimes it's even more. The value will definitely increase. So
From time
maybe,
they break ground,
yes, and
you've already made money.
whether you decide, and even you could even live there for 2 years just to kind of settle yourself and
Mm.
everything. And when you're ready and the value is where you need it to
Mm.
be, then then right then and there you have 200,000 available for you to get your next place. So you're able to get $1 million place or 1.5
Yeah.
million with a down payment. So there are always options.
Yes, you just
Just
have to be creative,
you have to be
listeners. Yeah.
creative, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. And to leave this on a positive note, um, the struggle might be real, but you got to be stronger and you got to be creative. And I know that when you have a dream and a vision, you'll make it happen. You really want something, you will get it. Just keep God in the forefront of all of that, because I do believe that God moves mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And when He knows your heart and He knows your desires of your heart, He will help you to get where you need to go. So keep Him in the forefront always on that journey. But as we wrap up the show, we hope that your hearts and your minds were activated on this week's show. Whether you lead with your heart or you lead with your mind, stay passionate and thoughtful, everyone. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.